Alright, so we're back into another Dragon Ball Super card game video. You see it here. It is Tricolored Beerus, another set 9 deck profile. And I'm trying to get as many out as I can. And then, of course, the Stage Zero team will probably be on the channel as well as throughout articles on stagezero.net. So definitely check it out. Subscribe if you're new, if you're ready for set 9. Are you excited for Beerus? Would you rather play another reboot leader? I know Gohan is incredible. Super Saiyan 3 is okay. Cooler is cool. And of course, we have Beerus here. Before I begin, definitely join the Discord in the description below. And I want to give a huge shout out to Jay Jaguar for being another sponsor on the channel, for the channel. Of course, you can join at the bottom right at any time. It's only $1. You know what? I'm going to do something special for him. You know what? Y'all are going up here right by the Broly. You know what? Let's do everybody. Yeah, let's do everybody. There you go. You guys are the reason why I do it. Thank you again. Anyway, yeah, highly appreciate it, guys. But let's get into the deck profile. This one is a little bit, I wouldn't really say on the casual level, but the power level of Beerus, and if we take a look at the leader itself, isn't the highest when it comes to competing with other Surge leaders and as well as other leaders in the meta, or have been in the format in the meta. I think Beerus is good. I think him being reworked is awesome. He is one of my favorite leaders before anything else came out. When I started playing, I really only played him and as well as Android 18 and 17 leader. I'm really happy about coming back to him. So let's take a look at the leader itself on the left side and the right side, the front and the back. The front side says you can swing to a leader card. Of course, it has to be a leader card. You can't actually swing to a battle card. You choose one, you either draw one card or you have to KO. So it says here, when you swing at a leader card, not a battle card, you get to choose one, either draw a card or you get to KO something 2 or less on their field. It's kind of a bummer that you have to swing to a leader card, but it is one of those philosophies, and I went into this in the Power Creep. Well, I will be getting into the Power Creep series on the article series that I have on the website, in which they want to accelerate the game as much as possible, and the way to do that is to force you to swing to the leader in order to get that advantage or get something out of it. It's also kind of a bummer that you have to choose one. If it was both, I think it would be a little too good, so I can understand that. The Awaken is that if you have 4 or more energy or if you have 4 or less life, you get to untap one and draw one. I think that detail, that small detail that Dr. Euro actually, not Jiro, the leader actually has, that little small thing is crazy. I think that small change is great, and now that means you get to be on this backside in which you can be at 6, 7, 8 life basically, and be a 15k attacker, be able to draw, and be able to KO anything 3 or less, which both of those things are great. But the permanent over here is the biggest thing. It says when your opponent bonus life is at 4 or less, anytime this card would do damage to your opponent, you choose up to 1 card from your drop area and into your placing energy in rest mode instead. So there's 2 huge caveats to this. One, this could never really go for game, which is kind of a bummer. Unless they routed him with Victory Strike, every time that you swing at the leader, they're basically going to have to combo out of it so that way you don't ramp, or if they do take it, you can't really go too high when comboing. I can't tell you enough. I can't tell you as many times, I'll go into this a little bit later, where I go like 25, 30 to their leader trying to get them down to like 2 and then realize like, oh, I have to do the permanent. The permanent has to go through, which means they don't take damage. I have to ramp something from my drop. The bright side is you can choose a multicolor card. You can choose really any color card in your drop area. It doesn't say which one. And I do believe, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, is if you do a double strike with the leader, which I think this deck does need. I think that's what the one thing that is missing, like a double strike Champa or double strike Kai, which we'll go over. It still counts for that too, which I'm like, that's cool, I guess. But again, you're committing cards to a leader in which you're not really accelerating the game state. If they're at 4 or less, they're probably going to want to end the game more often than not on their turn. And, you know, the auto is just there for you to use the benefit. But at least it doesn't have to be the leader. And of course, it still has the activate main. You win the game. At first, I really wanted to make something work for this. It's not going to work. I'm just going to let you know that. Anyway, so this is a blue-green yellow sort of deck, and there's a lot of cool combinations in this. I think it's very straightforward. If anything, I think this is a pretty fair deck, and if I had to place it somewhere, it'd probably be in like the mid-tier, sort of like tier 2 kind of deck. And I think he can be built in a lot of different ways. This way, with the blue, yellow, and the Zamasu package, is pretty cool, because now you get to take hold of the energy wrapping that you have, and as well as have all of the control aspects that Beerus kind of wants anyway. And I think the leader inherently wants to control, because you want to KO things on their board pretty much every single turn. And now you have Zamasu putting that pressure on the negates, the frost deadly poison, etc. Right? The most important card here that is new anyway. Well, the two most important cards that are new over here is the Zamasu Sacred Disbelief, and this is a super combo, which is a blue yellow, doesn't require a 4 or less requirement. Is probably the best super combo out of the entire set coming out of that. I think all the multicolored super combos are incredible. I love the 1-drop extra cards that are leader specific, like the Goku, Kamehameha, etc. This one is really good because, again, don't need 4 or less. It does enable the arrival for like Bojack. And the other thing is that you can tap down any card. So whether it's a leader or a battle card, you can tap it down. You can't tap down their energy. It would be probably way too busted. If it says it's a blue, it says this: if it's a blue or yellow leader card, when you combo this card, you get to choose up to one of their leader cards or battle cards and place it in rest mode, or switch it to rest mode. A thing about this is that basically it's a 2-for-1, in which if they're swinging with a battle card and then you use this to defend, now you're not taking that damage and you get to tap down their leader. You're taking away whatever option that they have as far as that leader swing to combo, and as well as get that draw or that auto effect, anything. Not only that is really good against that new green Gohan. You heard it here first. I've posted, well, I mentioned it, I haven't really posted it, but I've mentioned that this super combo is really good against that. So when we get into this next format, and that is going to be the aggro deck of the format, definitely consider this in your build. If you aren't, reconsider. Now we also have the Beerus Checkland. Just says that if you have a multicolored card in your energy area that's blue or yellow, you get to choose this or place this in not rest mode, inactive mode. There you go. And then now we have Frost Deadly Poison. More often than not, you'll have that 3 energy open later into the game, and this really stops a lot of the new SRs. Well, all the new SRs except for Cell. Obviously, like things like I've gotten around like the Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta. I've gotten around Dark Banisher. I've baited people out from not playing Dark Banisher and Shrouded, those type of things. And it's really, really important if you are playing blue yellow. I almost wouldn't play this at 3, but I think that's a little too much. I've seen it every single time that I needed it, and it's been there. It's awesome. I would never change it. Then we have 4 the Bojack. This is really just for more defense, and on the offense, having a 20k attacker for 1 energy and being able to actually use a Zamasu, and then all the yellow, blue yellow energy, or the yellow energy that you have, just being able to arrival, make them mill 1, and now tap down any of the no barrier cards that they have is incredibly useful. And now again, you have a blocker 20k. Now you have the swing. I always thought this card is great. Yes, it gets hurt by like Vegeta the Cruel and as well as Denial, but if you have multiple ones, now they're using that energy. Now you have an attacker, and if it's in the right place in the right time, you can go ahead and swing and punish them. And now Topo, man, it is great. I've been exploring the successor stuff quite a lot. Most likely in the next like few videos, I'm going to be having like a exploring successor series type thing. So watch out for that. This guy is a barrier 25k successor for green yellow, which in this deck you really only have to charge 1 green. I would like to put more successor in this, like Cell and some other stuff, but I don't think it's really needed. I think Topo really does his job pretty well. Things that have barrier, which we do have an extra card for things that have barrier, this takes care of. And then when it's removed, in which it has barrier, so they're either going to swing it or they're going to have their own Topo type thing, or like a 3-drop extra card. It gets to KO something with or without barrier and negate the skills, which is incredibly strong. It hasn't come up in a lot of matchups, but when it has, and when it does, it is incredibly strong. Topo is really good because now you have the Bojack negate here, and as well as the Goku Black, in which if you already summoned out of Zamasu, and as well as maybe don't even have Zamasu later in the game, and he's just kind of sitting there as fodder because he's a 10k, now their Ludicars is 15k, now you can go ahead and use a Bojack at 3 cost, the Rose over here at 3 costs and pay for that successor. And yes, it's kind of convoluted, but it works, and I really like it. Like when it actually, like I said, has come up, it is awesome. And now we have the Power Pator secret rare, the Vegito, just as a finisher, and he's come up quite a lot. He's finished quite a lot of games. He's a 40k for triple striker. You draw 4 cards, and if the opponent has 6 energy, which you will get there, or 6 cards in rest, you get to go ahead and play him for 5 costs. So I think he's a very strong secret rare. The price bump on him is very much needed. And then we have the Zamasu package, in which I will talk about the turns, but using the energy that you have, especially if you get a Whis out and ramp, it is awesome in order to use him on turn 3 or 4, and then the next turn using the Zamasu to start ripping their hand, swinging for a 25k double strike that is indestructible. You saw it in the PPG championship deck for the Piccolo. It is a very effective engine. I'm glad it's getting recognition now. Kind of gloss over the Whis, but he is a 1 blue energy, draw 1. He is great as a cantrip. He's great against like the Android 21 decks, in which might see play deck now, like the Android 21 scheme, that is, might see play, getting around that, beating out any kind of counter plays, drawing your card and recycling itself. And then of course the other effect, in which you can pay the 2 blue in order to place an energy mode, or an energy, and now you can go ahead and awaken faster, or even play a bigger threat. Now let's talk about the extras. Of course, you play Dimension Magic at 4, Senzu Bean at 4, and then Barrier of Hope, which is new. The Dimension Magic and Senzu Bean are kind of staples. Don't really need to talk about that. You counter for Dimension Magic for free. Teen is gone, so that's great. Same thing for Senzu Bean, and now he is, or that card is still great and enables you to do more things with Goku Black. And then we have Barrier Hope as another alternative removal for Barrier. I'm telling you, Barrier, and as well as Hand Destruction, are kind of be the bigger things coming up in this format. Plus, it is a 5k in your hand, and now you can go ahead and either combo with a 5k. You can go ahead and remove something, return it to your hand, which is kind of a bummer, but now you can draw those 2 cards, and it just keeps your hand size high, which Beerus does need if you awaken early. And then we have the 2 Hellas. It's just a great super combo. It's another green energy in a pinch. And then we have the 3 Great Ups on Goku. So I know this is sort of like looking like, you know, good stuff.deck for some of this stuff, but this is sort of needed later in the game. You're sort of sitting on energy if you don't have a Zamasu to play. You're sort of just kind of sitting there and counterplaying with Fosterly Poisoning, or waiting for the arrival for a Bojack, or even using the 4-drop Goku. So when you know you don't need those things, you go ahead and use this after using for Hellas or comboing it out, even if you want to go ahead and arrival for Bojack, if you want to combo this another blue card, if that's really what you want to do. But it is really good just to have in your drop, paying those 2, drawing to those 2 cards. If you're playing a control deck or something that needs draw later in the game, this is the card to play. That is why it's so expensive. Goku is there for any big threats like these, well, maybe not him, but definitely him, and anything else like a secret rare. Shrouded in Mystery is great because you are going to get to that 6 energy, and it does end games, especially if you have 2 or 3 Zamasus on the board, and now you're swinging with no negates in their hands, or being able to use those negates. And then Banisher Fu is just awesome because you're ripping their hand, and now when you get to that point to use Banisher Fu, it is great as an alternative win con. All these things are really good in a basically, like if you're playing blue or if you're playing control type deck. I don't think there's any better option, and if there is, I'm more than welcome to welcome them into my heart. Here's some cards to consider. I know that you're probably thinking like, why don't you have Champa? I don't know. I don't think there's really I'm sure you can make room for it. I think in my original build, Champa was here. The Android 16 was there as well, but because you have to play the blue-green energies, I didn't really play it. So that's that. And then we have the I would definitely play Champa if you need to side, or at least play it in the main. And then we have Android 21 Band Element. You could actually probably play this at 2 or 3 and still you charge it, or if you swing and they do damage, and if you pitch this with Hellas, or if you combo with it, you can go ahead and place in your energy, and now you have it to play, and all you really need is that 2 green, which you're gonna have. You're either gonna be charging this in the early game or play it later. You can charge another green, and now you can play it from your energy area for 4. Bracing Impact is great. You choose a leader card or a battle card and gains 15k. You choose one of your energies, switch it to active mode, so it's a 1 cost. You can do blue or yellow, and then you get to choose one of your battle cards as a blocker, which the Goku Black can be one. The Zamasu, if they Nimbus or something like that, it's it's an indestructible blocker now, that type of thing. Or you can use the Bojack. I think those are all really good targets for that. Then we have the SS Rose Goku. Basically, it's a free negate. It's a counter attack. It is a blue-green or blue-yellow, so it does fit with the deck. And you can choose one. If your opponent has 3 or less energy, you choose one of their battle cards in rest mode, and then place in their energy mode, which is great removal. And then if they have 2 or more energy, I do believe, you get to choose 2 of your blue energy and switch to active mode. So again, basically a free negate if you have a multicolored card in your energy area. And if you're playing that, then it's an easy way to get a free negate out. The Zamasu indestructible, and then maybe even this guy if you want to use an alternative target, and then maybe even this guy because you're going to have that energy later on, especially if you're utilizing the Whis and as well as the leader effect. So if you want to really meme it up, these are the cards to go for. Mafuba is great in any blue deck, so not really much to say about that. It just covers a lot of big boys. I love the 1-drop extra cards. This gives you 15k and the option to either draw a card on your turn, especially if you're going aggressive, which is great with Bean. And then if it's the opponent's turn, you get to choose 1 energy, blue energy, and switch to active mode. Which could be, a blue-green energy if you want to go that way, or just a free 15k combo, right? And of course, the Goku Oob, which is an alternative SCR if you do not have the Vegito. Now let's talk about Mulligan. You definitely want to check land, which is the Beerus, which is always good to have, or multiple in your hand. You want the Whis as a draw 1 play on the turn 2, and then turn 3, if he lives, you go ahead and use this effect and then awaken. And of course the Zamasu package, so that way you can play as early as possible. Just like I was saying, you want to charge a Beerus and pass. You want to combo with the Ape on defense, keep your life high as possible, because you're going to awaken pretty early, and them basically getting to the point of, which is why you only play 2 Hellas, by the way, dealing with the 15k leader, and while they're still 10k, they're not really going to do any damage. You get to set up and force them to combo out, basically. Turn 2, you charge another Beerus, play Whis if you haven't already. Goku Black in hand, if you want to hold those energy, you go ahead and swing, draw, or remove something, which is pretty easy to do, especially if they're playing something like Whis, and then play Goku Black on their turn, especially if they're going with like a 1-drop critical or something like that. Turn 3, you charge that green energy. If you can, you can topo if you'd like. If you can, charge the topo, that is, and then awaken if you can. But if not, go ahead and activate the Goku Black to pay for 3, because it is colorless, which is a huge thing in this deck, and then use the Zamasu effect. You can probably safely pass, but because at this point you're usually at a high life total unless you're playing something aggressive. If you don't have the combo, just use the Whis to ramp and awaken, and then Bean into Goku Black for the next turn. And then turn 4 or higher, you just establish as many Zamasus as you can, swing with them, use the Goku Ape, play the SCR if possible, or your Overwhelm package, and that's pretty much it. It's a pretty straightforward deck. There's not anything crazy that's going on, but I think it's pretty solid. And here's the deck list itself. So if you skip this part, or skip to this part, just know it's Beerus.
What more do you want from me?
Like, that's the biggest pro here, right? The fact that we have a reboot leader and we're able to build around it, and he can probably compete in the meta now. Like, it's great. He's not going to be tier 1. He's, like I said, going to be kind of a tier 2 lower end deck, but I'm okay with that. His choices to remove or draw is great. The blue-yellow control stuff is awesome. You can even go with other blue-yellow rivals and you'd be perfectly fine. The hidden topo is awesome tech. I love that tech. I hope to see more of it for other people. The extra ramp is a nice touch for bigger boys, especially if you want to shove in some more blue stuff like Gogeta 5 or even Gogeta 7. And it can be built with versatility. And I think red-blue is a very possible thing with this deck. I think blue-green is a very possible thing with this deck. Mono-blue is very cool. It's a shame that, well, probably not a shame, but it's good that Xenobutton is gone, but it would be pretty good with this deck. The cons is that it is pretty much too fair. It is a solid deck. Like, you're not going to top like a regional in this next format, but I think if you build it right, you can compete and you can do well. This build, I think, should give you some idea of what direction you could take it. The permanent can be annoying, just like I said before. Trying to go for a game with the leader and you just ramp is just kind of useless, and then it might have a tough matchup with mass removal or just things like red. So you're trying to establish things like the Zamasu as well as the Bojack, having those as your attackers and as well as defending for yourself, and removal, or red says just no. So I would say that is pretty much the deck. I've gone through quite a lot in a lot of different sections. If you guys want me to condense it or remove or add anything, definitely let me know in the comments below. I am more than happy to change and receive some criticism. I'm excited to see some other decks, or to go over some other decks, so definitely subscribe if you're new, like, dislike, and I'll see you in the next one. Later.